This is a Violet Jester Media podcast.
Ready?
Yes.
It's This Epic Disaster, and we are doing dog things.
Sorry.
It kind of becomes a thing now. We start off, especially because we kind of have to like puppy sit.
We can call it a pup date.
Pup date.
Here's a pup date. So today's pup date is as follows. Toffee is in her pen in the studio.
The main thing is just to keep her busy while we do a show.
That's all we have to do.
All
So that's
right.
what we're doing.
Well, let's start off with a little bit of live beer review. You know what? There might be some controversy because you think we might have done this before. I don't know. I don't think we have.
I recognize it, but I don't know that we've done it on this podcast.
I don't know.
We may have never done it at all, and
That's the problem with keeping records. When you don't keep records, you never know. And
oh dear,
what do you do?
Oh
what
my God.
What the? You did that on purpose, didn't you?
Fuck no.
I wish I had the video of that.
You shook this shit up.
No, I have a feeling it's probably frozen. So okay, we should fill everyone in. What happened is she just popped the top and it exploded. So there you go. And there was if you're really good at like faking videos and something, there would have been like a really great porn fake right there. What you were just doing.
I'm covered in it.
I know. It's like
That's
beer
disgusting.
bukkake. I know. So, all right. But some of it survived.
Here.
A lot of it survived.
Have that.
And what are we
But
drinking
it's still
today?
dripping on me.
Look how much I got.
Well, that's what you get for spewing your wad.
Wait a minute. Suddenly we're doing a porn podcast. What do
Thank
you
God
want?
you have paper towels up here.
Do you what I do in privacy of my own home is none of your business.
Where's the lotion?
Do you want to explain what we're having today?
If I could.
Look at this.
I would
this
love
is
to.
interesting. There's no beer in there, but yet it has a head.
That's what she said.
Wait a minute.
Okay, so what we're having today. Sorry, I'm composed.
Breathe.
I'm composed. What we're having today is called Naked Pig, which kind of goes with it.
Yeah.
With the whole porn thing.
Yeah.
Pale ale.
I'm not into pigs, but I'm not judging.
It's called Back 40 Beer Company. Now, I've had beers by Back 40 Beer Company. They do a good beer called a Truck Stop.
Really?
Which I first had in Panama City Beach.
So they're not a local company.
They are not. This one is brewed in Gadsden, Alabama.
Okay. Sort of local. Regional.
It's regional, yes. Yeah. Naked Pig, it's a pale ale. It says this medium-bodied American pale ale is delightfully crisp and, handcrafted. The Munich malts provide a perfect balance to the 5 fresh hop additions that go into every batch. Smooth enough for any craft beer newcomer, yet complex enough for even the most discerning connoisseur.
I don't have my phone with me. I would take a photo of the difference in your beer and mine.
Would you like to just pour some in your, or just switch them? Just switch them. I have a drink.
I think you've already slobbered in yours. I don't really want to.
I've slobbered in the entire thing because I put my mouth on it.
Oh, that's right.
As soon as it was spewing.
You were doing weird things with the bottle.
Also what she said.
All right, I'm just going to drink it like this. Here I go. I'm going to have some. I'm going to sniff it first. Sniffing it. Smells like beer.
Please.
Smells like beer that might be a little bitter.
It smells like beer that has sherry spit in it. Enjoy.
Oh. I was right.
I told you it's a pale ale. It's going to have some bitter.
A little spit.
Not spit. Bit.
What do you
bitter.
think?
It's
Pale ale.
Yeah. Moving on.
Okay, well, I would ask you how your week was, but we just recorded like 2 days ago.
Right. So it's how has your day and a half been?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta massively. Here's my thing.
What?
I'm in a really, really, really bad mood. I'm in a very pissy mood. Can you tell?
Yes, because I've been here for an hour already.
I'm in a foul mood. I'm normally not in a foul mood. You know what might get me out of the foul mood?
A little Zabmondo.
Potentially. I think we should try it.
I'm going to start with some incense and just
Make-
try
like-
and clear the room.
And maybe I can meditate.
With
Do a
some
little
sage.
meditation,
Yes.
possibly.
I'm burning some sage.
Maybe I can get in touch with my inner child.
It's possible.
Maybe I can maybe try to open my third eye.
I can do
knows?
that for you. It's right in the middle of your forehead, right?
That was like one of the first experiences that I had with you, and that's not what I mean, but I mean,
Wait, what? I did not open your third eye.
no.
We don't tell people things that we
You
did.
smudged my apartment. No one had ever smudged my apartment. Do you remember that? It was like one of the very first things you did.
Yep.
Maybe the first thing you did
Yep.
in the apartment.
No, the
when
first
you
thing I
moved
did
in.
is had microwave pizza because we just got back from Chicago.
Yeah, and really, we could have had like Chicago deep dish and you do microwave. But anyway, and you smudged my apartment. Now, if you don't know what smudging is, and most people know what smudging is, right?
I think so.
It's when
The burning of sage.
you get a stalk of sage,
A stick.
a stalk, and you light it, and the smoke, you kind of move it around. What's the purpose of that? Is it supposed to like get rid of evil spirits or something?
It's supposed to get rid of negativity in general and make
No, it's not.
and clean the house. It's basically cleaning the house.
Yeah, but like it's on a spiritual level,
Right, but
it
not
gets
like
rid
the-
of the energies or whatever, right?
Right, not the soap scum.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, not like that. That would be awesome.
Right?
Take a little sage in the shower with you.
And you never have soap scum.
But that was the first time I think that had ever happened, and it smelled like soup. My apartment smelled like burnt soup for a while.
But who doesn't love sage soup?
I love sage, everything, and but yeah, that was interesting. And so,
What?
this is totally accidental. I just noticed you're burning white sage. I
got done saying I told you never listen to me. That's how the whole sage thing came up. I said I'm going to burn some sage and clear the room.
I was, I remember to clear the room. I don't think I heard the sage. I think you just said, I'm going to burn some incense and clear the room. And then I just picked up on the sage and that.
well,
So I looked like
we
I
can
looked
always
down, but-
rewind and go
Yeah,
back
I know,
and
I know. I'm not doubting you. I'm just saying I didn't hear the sage. I was picking up on your clearing the room. And I started remembering when you burned sage. But you're talking about that sage, and I'm how about this sage?
Moving on.
This is why I'm in a pissy mood.
We're playing Zabmondo.
Play
and
some
you go
Zabmondo
first.
before I have to punch somebody in the face.
Drop a stone.
Oh, it's my turn. Whoa, I
Yeah.
actually get to go first?
Yeah.
Well, you know I'm going to drop a red one.
Are you? You said you were going to stop predicting.
I know, but I've got the last two right. So
You say that every time.
Ready?
Yep. It's yellow.
Now we'll stop.
Okay. But I love yellow because they're random.
Yeller, as we call it in East Tennessee.
Yeller. Old yeller.
Mm-hmm.
To be. Oh, don't. Because I'll cry. Okay. All right. So random. These are would you rather questions. That's
Would
what
you rather?
our Zabmondo experience is. So, would you rather
Yes, I would. Oh, wait.
fall in love with
Yes.
someone and
Yes.
find out that he or she is a space alien
That's stupid.
or
Yes.
a robot?
Space alien.
So you would rather them be organic, but not from this. Not
I don't know. I have to
terrestrial.
I've got to think about it. Well, it depends. Like, if you're watching movies, some movies, the robots look quite realistic.
Mm-hmm.
If that is the case,
We make sex robots.
I don't know.
I mean, we personally don't, but
I feel like I have the emotional capacity of a robot.
sometimes
That's what I feel like.
Sometimes.
I might actually be able to connect.
you could.
Maybe. But I
Especially
feel like
those times when you hibernate in your room for
I just feel like a
days.
space alien would be okay because at least it'd be like an actual live thing. But then what if you get some kind of space alien STD
Well, you can get that now from
No.
anything.
from a space alien? I don't know.
So-
I didn't say STD. I said space alien. It could be like something unique that they don't know how to cure.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Well, here's the thing, though. If it's a space alien,
Yeah.
they're going to have all kinds of interests that you don't.
Right.
So they can turn you on to all kinds of new experiences.
What if they have sex like totally different way? Oh, are we talking about sex? Did I say sex?
You did.
What was the question?
Fall in love.
Oh, so sex wasn't involved. I'm already jumping ahead to the sex with the robot.
Well, I mean,
Whew.
depending on how you fall in love.
Yeah.
Some people fall in love physically.
Love is not sex. Anyway,
No.
I would go. I'm changing my I'm changing my answer. I think now I'm going to say robot. As long as if it's a robot, it's got all kinds of mechanical pieces and stuff inside, right?
Yeah, and they have to be well lubed. Ooh.
No, I'm staying with my initial answer. I'm going with space alien.
Well, duh, me too. I
Space
mean,
Alien.
I am a Doctor Who fan,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Doing space alien.
Absolutely fall
Okay.
in love with space aliens.
It's your turn.
All right.
We all know now. I want to fall in love with a space alien. That sounds like a song. Here we go.
Sounds like a who's the band that did Stacy's mom?
Fountains of Wayne.
Yeah, it sounds like a Fountains of Wayne song.
Okay.
Okay,
I was gonna guess purple.
it is purple.
I was gonna say it, but if I had said it,
Okay,
it
so
would've-
purple. What's the category for purple?
the category for purple, as you know, is food and ingestion.
Let's do this because
So
I'm
you-
hungry.
You like food, right?
I'm hungry.
Would you rather lick the floor underneath the refrigerator? What is that food? Or
Oh God.
the underside of a toilet rim? You got to pick one.
I don't want to.
You got to.
I don't want
The
to.
fate of the earth depends upon it.
All right, I'm gonna go with the underside of a toilet rim
Oh my God! Really?
Yes.
Why?
because there's not a lot of like bugs and roaches and stuff that hang out under there.
That's where they live. Oh, under the toilet.
Right? They're not
Yeah.
there. They're under
But
the
there's
fridge.
pee under there and germs and poop and things that could kill you.
But it's
and-
organic. And it's protein.
I can't believe I had my tongue in your mouth at one point. That's nasty.
Well, not right after I licked a toilet rim.
I got the heebie-jeebies now.
Nasty. That's nasty. All right, so
Another Zabmondo come and gone.
and
this
it was
one-
one of the lower.
That was disgusting.
One of the lower
Both of them
Zabmondos.
were pretty bad.
Yes.
Would you rather fall in love with a space alien toilet lick or something like that?
So
Yeah.
together it would have been just frightening, I'm sure. So so here's what's happening with me.
What's happening?
Okay,
with you?
so do you remember I mentioned just either last podcast or the one before that I had an experience where I didn't get any sleep because I had psyched myself up and I was thinking I heard something in the room or I knew somebody was staring at me, kind
Okay.
of that strange psyched up, living
some
alone
large
feeling.
underwater thing staring at you.
Well, no, not quite that level, but I got me thinking about fears, just
Okay.
on a higher level,
Sure.
not specific fears.
Mm-hmm.
But I started to think about what my fears were in my 20s compared
Yeah.
to what they are now.
Right.
So in my 20s, they were very non-corporeal fears, if you will. They didn't have any substance. They didn't have like I'm afraid of this.
So it was more like I'm afraid of life in general. I'm afraid of the future. I'm afraid of not getting a job. I'm afraid of not having friends. I'm afraid that kind of stuff.
Well, those are specifics. For me, it was more of just I have this fear
Okay.
and I don't know of what. I'm just afraid. I'm just afraid and I can't articulate what my fear is of because I don't know. I'm just afraid.
Just a general state of fear.
Right.
Okay.
Now, and this is back when my spirituality was not what it is today.
Okay.
Okay, in your 20s, it never is what it is in your 40s.
Most of the time, I know a few who
Go the opposite.
kind of that way.
But okay, so back then I could have been afraid of, oh my gosh, there's demons coming into my house, there's
Right.
ghosts, there's somebody who wants to point and laugh at me,
Burn some
or
sage.
there's somebody, just all these weird kind of it could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
My fears are very specific now.
Now you know what you're afraid of.
I know exactly
You've become
what
an
I'm afraid
adult
of.
and you know what to be afraid of.
Yes, I'm no longer afraid what people think about me.
Uh-huh.
Clearly. I mean, clearly. I'm no longer afraid I'm going to make a fool of myself because, trust me,
I don't know that you've ever been that afraid of that, have you?
not terribly, because I like to make a fool out of myself, and
think
not
so.
not in a self-deprecating way.
No.
I'm just happy when I'm foolish.
Okay.
So I'm not afraid of making mistakes.
Right.
I'm not afraid of starting over. I'm not afraid of all these things that I have experienced in my life because I've experienced them. And while they sucked, I got through them.
Okay.
Right? What I'm afraid of now is very, very specific. And you know what? I blame the ID channel.
All right. So you're afraid of someone killing you.
No.
What would it be?
I'm afraid of somebody hurting me.
Hurting you.
I'm not afraid of dying. You could shoot me in the head and I'm done. That doesn't frighten me.
Okay. Give us some examples. Play out a scenario here. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid might happen?
I'm afraid of pain.
Pain?
Physical pain. Even though my reaction to physical pain is not what most people's reaction is.
Okay.
I would say that most people, when faced with physical pain, cry, scream, shake, plead,
Right.
bargain, what have you. I spew profanity.
I get that. I understand that.
Yeah. It's instant, it's uncontrollable,
Okay.
and it's angry.
Sure.
So having had, it's going to get a little deep here. Having had physical pain in my past, starting as a child and again in my adult years, it makes me angry. And it can get me to a point of, like an instantaneous point of rage, at which point I can no longer control what comes out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I have frightened people when they accidentally hurt me physically. Now, being hurt emotionally, I react the way that most people react to physical pain. If I am hurt emotionally, I will cry, I will bargain, I will, deny. I will do all those things. But physically, nah. I'm just gonna come up with words you've never heard. Your grandmother never heard them. Your children won't hear them again. It's frightening. It's frightening.
My grandmother heard a lot of stuff. I mean,
she probably taught you half of it.
No, she was all right.
So fear in general, I would say my biggest fears are home invasion.
Yeah.
Okay. Not like home invasion, like somebody coming and sneaking in, because that used to be a fear of mine.
I know. Busting the door down.
Busting the door down. I have no...
Do you have weapons?
Egress. I have no recourse. I have nothing, nothing.
I mean, maybe I shouldn't ask you that, because you don't want to let people know. But I mean, get weapons. I think that's something... If you
How do you know I don't already have them?
I was just saying, if you don't have it, that helps. And with you... It's probably a good thing because you don't have anybody else living with you, so there's no chance that somebody else might find it, your dog or something. But,
I don't like the idea of weapons in my house. Let's just put it that way. I'm not saying I don't have them, and I'm not saying I have them. I'm just saying I don't like the idea of them.
Okay.
Also, in a brute force move like that, look at me talking about work. In a brute force move like that, you are rarely sitting right next to your weapon.
Yeah, and I was just thinking about this. It's weird. I was thinking about this either last night or the night before. If someone busted into my house and I had a weapon, because I was looking at guns online, but I don't know that I would be able to have a steady shot. I mean, if this is going on,
like instant, right now,
all this crap, wouldn't you be shaking and you'd be scared? How do you have the steadiness? I guess it's practice. You go out and shoot a little bit on the range or something. But I mean, how do you keep your hand from shaking? I'd be shooting like the windows and the walls and everything else, and
accidentally shooting your own dog.
It'd be like one of the stormtroopers on Star Wars. You just never hit anything.
Pew pew pew, and everybody's fine.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. And that's another frightening thing. What? Okay, there you go again. So here's another fear of mine. Let's say this home invasion happens.
Yeah.
Let's say I do have a weapon. That person takes my weapon from me and uses it on me.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's life.
That's
and
a
death.
fear. And clearly, almost death.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like I said, pain. So if somebody takes control of me and physically hurts me and I have no recourse and no egress, that is my current biggest fear.
Yeah.
And it's almost, it's not irrational. I mean, that does happen.
I don't think so, but I think that those kind of fears are probably a little bit more predominant with women than men.
I agree.
I think from my just talking to women that I know, a lot more women are more fearful of being violated or overcome or taken over or something like that, which I understand. I mean, even like going out, like, okay, at nighttime, if I'm walking by myself, certainly I have that thought. But I think it's more panicky for women a lot of times.
A lot of times, and they have to be a little more. No, I won't say that because that's not fair. But I will say that women tend to be a little more aware of what's happening around them.
Yeah.
When they're alone on the street, say at night,
Right.
Or if they're in their home alone,
Yeah.
they tend to be a little more hyper aware of sounds. Unusual things happening.
Right.
I should also go back and say that when I said that, things I've experienced, I'm no longer afraid of, I should make it clear that, yes, I have been in a situation where somebody had control over me and I had no recourse.
Yeah.
And I'm still afraid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it can always be worse.
I don't know what I'd do in that situation. I've been lucky. I haven't had it so far. Here's what I always think will happen. Because okay, I'm a dude. So
really?
This is typical guy response.
Okay.
You better not mess with me, man. I'll kick his ass. Come over here. I'll throw stuff. I'll pull my gun out. I'll do it.
No, not
that's
you.
The guy. I remember.
Not you.
My brother was in a bank once, and it got robbed. And it was like, everybody on the floor. And my brother said, you know how when you're sitting with your friends and you're like, if somebody ever came into a bank, I'd be like swinging from the lights and kicking. He was like, no, you get on the floor.
You get on the floor.
You're scared to death.
And if they say, don't look at me, you don't look at them.
So I don't know. It's easy to say what I would and wouldn't do. I think knowing me and the capacity that I have to not obey the rules when someone's saying do this, what I have thought several times is if I said no, how are you going to make me do it?
They would shoot you.
Or
in a bank robbery situation.
Or shoot my wife.
Right.
That's what I get concerned about.
Right.
I just think, what if I said no, and because I said no, then they shot my wife? Then I would be like, holy crap.
Well, at that point,
that'd be worse.
At that point, you would refuse to do what they were telling you.
No, they would
to
have
do.
to shoot me at that point.
Exactly. At that point, they would absolutely have to kill you.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, to see that and to know it happened because I wouldn't do something, that would be even hard. We're starting to go down an area I'm getting really uncomfortable with.
Okay, but I just want to say one more thing on that subject is look at your wife.
Yeah.
Is she going to do what they tell her to do?
My wife is pretty spunky too. I think she
would absolutely get up in their face and say no.
Yeah.
And then you'd be shot.
Yeah, I mean that's okay. I think we were talking last night about, having these agreements. No, this morning about like having wills and do you want to be, if you're incapacitated, do you want somebody to pull the plug or whatever.
Right.
But it should be the same. I think you should have the same thing. It's just like if someone ever breaks in to your house and says do this or do that, what do you
we should have kind of a pattern or a plan.
Yeah.
Yes. You what do families do? They plan for fires. They have fire drills in their own home so that everybody, children included, know where to go and how to get out if possible. So you should have these kinds of drills. Oh, can I be the bad guy? No. I want to be the bad guy in your drill.
Well, here's my thought. This is based on nothing but speculation because I've never been through this, but I've always felt like if it came down to it, and I feel this about everything, the way to handle it and to disarm someone is through humor. They're not going to be expecting somebody to joke in humor. They're going to shoot you anyway,
right?
Potentially.
Right.
So just be crazy, be funny, make jokes, laugh, do silly things, whatever. Be completely crazy and unpredictable, and maybe they'll run away. It's the only chance you got, unless you have a gun or something. But I'm just saying, I think in the end, if I knew that, I think I would probably just fall back on doing that stuff.
Just be psychotic your humor.
I would just start cutting jokes. I would make comments. I'd be like, so where are you from? And just talk to and just whatever. It's all you got. It's the only thing you got.
Well, the only thing you really have.
Death by stand-up. That's what I call it.
And I mean, you've experienced that already, so
yes,
you're good at it.
Many times.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, the only thing you really have, though, in your arsenal, if you will.
What do you know what's in my arsenal?
I don't know what's in your arse. Jesus, here he goes already.
I'm sorry. I lowered myself again.
The only thing you really have in your arsenal is your wit and your mind and your intelligence.
Oh, my goodness.
And
I didn't do that, by the way.
That was either in your arse or in Toffee's arse.
Came out of
I'm not sure. It wasn't me.
Oh, things are melting in the studio. This is unpleasant. Now, that's what you do if you're being held up. Just rip a big one.
Let one of those go.
Oh, man, yeah.
Good God,
Maybe
child.
They'll run out.
Oof. Does somebody have to go outside?
Well, it's the first time during the podcast anyone has farted, at least to the point where we both know it.
Right. I'm going to go ahead and suggest that we take just a second. We'll be right back.
We are back. This is the first time we've had a commercial in the podcast.
Is that the weirdest thing ever?
It is kind of a little strange. All right, so this is really kind of interesting that you chose to talk about fears and what you were talking about, because I kind of had planned that what I wanted to talk about today, and it's right along the same lines, really, of what you were talking about.
Okay.
You can call this a fear, but I am really, really bad at handling conflict.
Oh, I know. I know you. That's no surprise.
And it's something that really makes me mad. It pisses me off. I don't know how people do it. I've known some people in the world who were really, really good at handling conflict. My wife just got a job. Her entire job is handling conflict.
That's what she does for a living.
Now, my wife. There are some times when someone needs to handle conflict with her. I mean, needs to do some conflict resolution.
Let's do some conflict handling.
There's a few areas with her that she needs some help, as we all do. But I'm just saying.
It normally comes in the form of things she feels passionate about.
Exactly. And really, that's probably the same with all of us. But she's good, generally, most of the time, with conflict resolution. Even with us, and I hear it, a lot of times if we have a little bit of disagreement, it's rare. Mm-hmm. But I know I could tell when she's doing her techniques.
She's using her tools.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I love when she uses her tools. And I kind of do the same thing. I mean, I kind of know how to do some of the conflict resolution stuff with her, but I just don't know how to do it on a regular basis in life. And it's something that I've struggled with since I was young, mm-hmm. and it's never gotten better. Mm-mm. And I don't know. Well, I'll take that back. I do know why. I have some suspicions why.
Okay, let's hear them.
I'm wondering if it's the same thing with everyone. If everybody who has conflict resolution, conflict problems, kind of stems from the same situations.
Okay, where does it stem from, in your opinion?
Here's what I think happened. So first of all, my dad was a blowhard. I'm okay with using that terminology.
He was kind of an arse.
Well, you knew him when he was kind of settled down, but when he was young, he was a yeller. He just liked to yell. He just liked to argue and yell and bluster. Mm-hmm. He was not an abusive person. He wouldn't. I mean, we got spankings.
Sure.
Most kids my age did. When I say my age, my generation, I should say.
Okay.
He's not spanking me at 56. I don't allow that.
Only from your wife.
Yes. But yeah, but he would yell a lot, and it was very uncomfortable. And when there's something happened, if you did something or whatever, I would have to stand in front of him while he yelled at me. Mm-hmm. And I was taught, you don't talk back. Mm-mm. You don't question adults. You don't talk back to grown-ups. And there was nothing I could do but stand there and listen to him yell at me.
Right.
It was very humiliating. It was very you feel powerless
And frustrated.
frustrated. You're a little kid, and this big grown up is yelling at you, and you can't do anything about it. So it's you don't have any power. So now that I'm older, I tend to just, if someone does that kind of thing, I don't tolerate it even for 2 seconds.
Right.
And I will dish it back out as quick as I can. So even if someone just, it's a minor thing, it will turn into a major thing thanks to me.
Because they will dish a little bit out and you will cook that shit up and throw it right back at them.
Or they will dish a lot of it out, and instead of me just letting it be,
And or just ignoring it.
right.
Or trying to handle it in a different way.
So I was, let's see if I could say this without revealing a lot. I was once in a relationship with someone who was incredibly, what's the word? I was going to say
Belligerent?
that, but I mean,
Raging.
in your face.
Yes.
There's a better word, and it'll come to me later. But
Abrupt?
no,
No?
confronting.
Confrontational. Thank you.
And that was difficult. And so what would happen is this person could be very smug and demeaning. And in a lot of times it would remind me of my dad. And so I think she was used to being in a relationship where she would do that to her guy.
Partner.
And he would just take it. And I would not. And I would return it twofold and sometimes 3.
Oh, dear.
And so I just had this thing where I was just like, why would I let someone talk to me that way?
Sure.
Why would I stand here and take that? Because I did when I was a kid, and I'm not going to do it now. So instead of doing conflict resolution, I would just mirror it right back.
Wow.
And so
Consciously?
often, not always, but yeah, I would say often.
Okay.
And my thought was, this is what it feels like. You should know what it feels like when someone does this to you. So I'm going to do it back to you.
So rather than dealing with the conflict that started it, you're proving a point that has nothing to do with the actual conflict that started this person yelling at you.
Yeah, but I'm kind of the type of person where I just feel like if someone goes through the experience of it, that's how they learn. You can't tell anybody something; they kind of have to experience it. So it's just like if you can experience what I'm feeling right now, maybe you'll kind of get a little glimpse of what I'm going through. So it's just like if you're going to call me a name, okay, that's, it hurts or whatever it feels like to me. So if I return it, maybe you'll feel, and that's what happened. So
The problem there is what you're doing is you're feeding that person's conflict. You're feeding that person's rage.
Sure.
Rather than just letting them make a fool of themselves and get it out and then saying, okay, now do you want to talk about the actual problem?
Yeah, and I mean, that's the mature thing to do.
Right.
But I'm just saying, when you're going through it and the energy's up and you're in the height of emotion and all that,
Sure.
it's hard to make that decision. And I know what I should have done, and I know the things I should say. But it's when someone is so smug, if it's unconscious or if it's inadvertent, okay, I can get that. And there have been times when I'm a little more grounded and a little more centered that I just wouldn't let it bother me. But I just feel like there are certain times when, especially when somebody's just really cocky and smug, it's just like I cannot let that go. I have to send it back.
To this day.
Yes, to this hour.
Well, I'll be good. I'll be good.
Well, I
got nothing to be smug
don't
about.
know how to fix that. A lot of it is just acting consciously. I understand that. Staying conscious, staying grounded. But I can't always do that. And it's just, especially when someone is really, really, and this sounds so dumb, but I want to say really wrong if they're at fault. But if they're just blowing up a situation or they're making something big out of nothing or just being a jerk, it's just hard for me to let that go.
So what is happening? And I will tell you what is happening in my psychological knowledge of wealth of knowledge that I've got. What's happening is they're yelling at you. They're telling you you're wrong. They're right. They're being mean to you. calling you names, hurting your feelings. And so your instant reaction is, you're hurting me, I'm going to hurt you back.
Kind of, but it isn't in an unconscious way. It's usually in a conscious way. I'm usually sitting there thinking, okay, this person needs to know what this feels like, so I'm going to give it back. And it's not, it often it isn't just sort of a thing where I'm just responding unconsciously doing the same thing they're doing. A lot of times it's because I'm consciously trying to do that. That might be the difference. And really, if I've got that much awareness, I should be doing the opposite. I understand that, but in the heat of the moment, I don't know how to fix that. I don't know how to take care of it. And here's what I read once, and I know this is true, that most of the things that you don't like, most of the things that you're afraid of, most of the things that you don't resist the actual thing. You resist the way that thing makes you feel. Mm-hmm. And so conflict makes me feel a certain way that I cannot stand. Mm-hmm. And it usually starts with physical shaking, and inside the adrenaline comes up, and just it's like a loss of control. And I hate that. And it goes back to, I think, when I'm a kid, when I don't have any options.
Right.
Got to stand there. And now I'm like, I don't have to stand there.
No, you don't.
I don't have to take
this. You
this.
could turn around and walk away.
A lot of times I just walk away. I will walk away. When you are in a relationship, you can't always do that. And in fact, I was often, punished or for walking away. And it becomes a game. Well, you left me because of blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So it's hard to do. But still, just conflict in general, I've watched people be berated and have to deal with these crazy egos. When I was working in professional theater, there were a lot of crazy egos.
I've heard.
Directors and actors that would come in that were just crazy. And you have to deal with them. And some were just totally loopy. And I couldn't do it. I just couldn't take that. And I one of my friends who worked with me was so good at just sitting there and letting people say whatever they wanted to say. And then he would calmly just take it from there. Okay, where do we go now? What can I do to make this right for you? How can I help you?
You're done venting.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. So now what?
And I just say, fuck you, which is totally the wrong thing to say.
Yes.
And then you can't go, oh, wait a minute, sorry.
What I meant was,
how can I help you?
What I meant to say was not fuck you, but
that's what happens, because my immediate reaction is that, and then I'm like, crap, now I got to go.
You're down that road.
I got to fix that now,
Yeah.
and then I can do the wise Yoda sage.
It's like, how do you once you follow that person down that road, because that person is trying to take you on a journey. That person is trying to take you with them down this feeling. And once you agree to go, you're kind of just along for the ride.
And a lot of times it's nothing about anybody but themselves. They're not doing it to me.
Exactly.
I mean, it's their own demons. Sometimes they're like, let's see what I can get away with or whatever. And I knew that, especially when I talk about this certain relationship, I knew the history of this relationship. I knew the history of that person. And I knew the demons that this person was battling against. And more often than not, it had nothing to do with me. But I'm still a target. And I just feel like, okay, maybe this person needs to know what this feels like. That's what I think sometimes.
Unfortunately, in most cases,
it doesn't work.
That person already knows what that feels like. And that's where it's coming from.
It's something I wish I could be better at. I've tried, I've listened to tapes, I've watched videos, I've tried to do it. And in the heat of the battle, there have been a couple times when I've done it and been very proud of myself for just letting things go. But it's rare. It just, I want to be better at it. I want to know. I feel like maybe we should have an episode of the show on conflict resolution. What are the techniques? And we can ask people. We can ask our listeners, what do you do to handle conflict? What are your techniques? What can I learn from our listeners to handle conflict? And number 2, don't ever start shit with me, people.
Jesus.
You
okay.
just don't want to.
So here's what blows me away a little bit is that you are kind of a connoisseur of self-help.
Yes.
Self-help books.
Right.
You even own some on
Many.
conflict resolution.
Many. Yeah.
So you know these tools.
I've spent years meditating. I've spent years studying Buddhism. I've spent years studying Christianity and other religions and trying to center myself, all of that kind of stuff.
That has nothing to do with conflict resolution.
Well, it should provide a center. It should provide a calm in turmoil. That's what the whole reason for spirituality is.
Right. But what I'm talking about is the actual, rational, physical tools, whether they be language-based or physically based, that you use to resolve conflict. It has nothing to do with where you're at in that moment. If you practice it enough, it can become almost muscle memory. If someone starts yelling at you, what is your reaction going to be? And then eventually your body and your brain will stop reacting the way that they do currently and start just using tools and just start saying, oh, I'm done. Okay, I'm walking away. Oh, that's it. Nope, I'm out. This conversation is going nowhere. I'm done. Or saying, okay, how can I get this conversation back to where I want it to be, quickly? There are people who are very skilled in just de-escalating a situation, like almost instantaneously.
Oh, yeah. That's their full job, sure.
And they're not physically or emotionally affected by it. They just know what to do,
Right.
so they do it.
Well, there are people who thrive on conflict. There are people who love causing conflict. I can't, and we've had this conversation, I can't watch cringe humor.
I can't
can't
either.
watch humor based on conflict. And it goes back to that thing of the way it makes me feel. Deep down inside, it does something to me that's painful, and I
Yes.
can't watch it.
Yes, same here.
For years, I couldn't, and I still probably can't. The Jackass, that
No,
show.
no.
I couldn't watch a lot of that
No.
kind of stuff. The physical stuff is dopey, but I mean, just how they would go up to people and I don't like candid camera or any kind of thing where you're making people feel bad. I can't do it. I can't watch it. It's just
When
one of
you're
those things I can't do.
using someone else's trust and or naivety to make fun or to make a joke. And that, again, goes back to what I was saying earlier in regards to you're putting me in a situation, you're controlling me. And whether that's based on my not having knowledge of what is really happening here or physically controlling me, it's the same feeling. That's a fear of mine. I don't want people to play me. And I can't watch somebody play somebody else.
To me, that's what conflict is. You're being played. When people act like a dick to you, they're playing you, and they're thinking I control this person. This person, like
Not
okay,
necessarily.
So, like if you're working for somebody, and I've been in these situations where you've had bad bosses, and it's like they're chewing you out, and I always and I like my wife has had some experiences at a job she used to have where her boss sometimes I felt like would cross the line, and I would always think, does this person know you're a grown up? You don't have to take this, but yet people take that. People go to work, they take it. I can't do it. I'm just.
You have
No.
to remember that those people that are treating you that way are not always consciously doing it. So you sat there just now and you said they are thinking, I'm controlling this person. I'm doing this. They might not be.
No, I
That's
understand
just who
that.
they are.
That was my my thought about. I helped them to become conscious of it by
Right.
giving them the same crap back. That was my thought. Like when I was in the relationship, it's just like, oh, she doesn't know when she calls me this, what it feels like. So how about that I do the same thing? So maybe she'll get a little thought back.
Right. But unfortunately, that was already done to her. She was already called that.
Yeah, she'd
and
be like-
that's why she's taking it out on you.
And when it's over, she's like, do you remember when you called me, blah, blah? And it's just like, well, yeah, but it was because you called me.
Yeah,
Well,
but
I don't
again-
even remember that, but you called me. And
Right.
so it's like there's the no-win situation.
That was a no-win situation.
But I mean, that's petty and that's relationship stuff. I'm not even going to work that. I just in daily life, people cutting you off on the road or going to a store and not getting service or just people talking bad to you. I have a hard time dealing with that. I don't know why. And I think it's a very bad thing, and I wish I could be better at it.
One thing in regards to conflict resolution, I will give you a little bit of insight. I had somebody in a position of power over me. I will say it was a boss of mine who basically walked in the room, yelled at me, turned around and walked away without giving me an opportunity to say a word.
Mm-hmm.
So I let him do it, and he walked away, and he got it out. And yeah, it made me angry. It made me very, very angry. I let him do it. I knew I was in the right the entire time. So he walked away, and then I treated him differently after that. I did not treat him in any way disrespectful. I did not in any way yell at him or talk badly about him or anything of that nature. I simply didn't treat him the way that I normally had. Until finally he realized I wasn't treating him the way I was, and he thankfully was smart enough to come and ask me why. Mm-hmm. And when he did, I explained to him, because you came in here and you yelled at me and you did not give me an opportunity to say anything, and then you walked away. And I'm sorry, but that is not okay. Then I got my apology. I also got a conversation started in regards to what the actual problem was. Mind you, I had to be the patient one and wait. I also explained to him that that is not okay. This can't happen again. It's been fine since. We have not had an instance like that since. Now, that took a lot of power, and I had to be ready for my answers. I couldn't just be one of those people that says, oh, no, it's fine. I'm fine. No, it's fine. I'm fine. Because that's crap. It's bullshit, and it's just going to keep happening. You have to be ready when they do come back and say, you're weird. What's going on? You're different. Well, let me tell you why. And you have to explain it to them, and you have to then talk about what was actually happening and get it over with, get it done with, and move on.
Well, one of the things I've learned after being in a few relationships in my life, a few marriages, a few situations, is, and I do this on my marriage now, is I try not to sit on anything. I try not to let anything stay internalized.
Right.
So when there's a problem, when I'm upset with something, and it doesn't always work, but I try to immediately talk it out, and I think she does too, and that's kept us from having. I mean, we're 99% argument free in this relationship, and it helps. And I feel like it should be the same thing in all situations. Unfortunately, when you're dealing with other people, there are people who are just very disagreeable, and there are some people who are just straight out jerks.
Right.
And those are the people I have trouble with. Normal people, regular people, or people who do things accidentally, yeah, I mean, I think I can work with that. But just people, especially to have a reputation for being a jerk, because that means they're jerks to everyone.
Right.
It's just who
Not
they
just
are.
you.
And it's just like, oh no, I won't sit back for that.
But here's the problem
I'll play
with
that
that
game.
Here's the problem with
Play
that.
that really well.
I totally agree with handling a situation in the moment if you can.
Yeah.
But before you can handle that situation, if that person is being belligerent and loud and yelly, you have to be able to know how to de-escalate before you can get
walk
to
away,
the point.
though. I can't even de-escalate. It's just like, for me, it's just walk away. And then they get mad because you walk away. And a lot of times yell at you, whatever. But it's just like, I will walk away. And a lot of times I won't come back. It's just like, I've knocked the dust off my sandals here. You're not going to see me again. That's it. That's just what I do. That's how I handle it. So it's just like, I have like two switches, completely off or completely on. And I need to figure out somehow a way in the middle.
Yes, you do.
I don't have that. Maybe before I die. It's weird because I was listening to my wife talk about she's just got a new job, and that's what she does. Her entire job is she deals with customers. She is a customer advocate. So she goes and she listens to the customers. They gripe at her,
who are already frustrated and
totally
unhappy
and have problems, and then they gripe at her, and then she's like, I hear you now. How can we fix this? You know? And so she has to sit and listen to it. I couldn't do that. Are you serious?
I mean,
the customers sit there, and I mean, they're like dumping everything on you, and it doesn't even have anything to do with you. I couldn't handle that.
What do you think I do?
I know.
What do you think I've been doing this whole time? People, when I started at this company, I started as a help desk technician, meaning I would get people calling me and going, fucking computer, rah, 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 I can't do this shit, fix this, blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, all right, first you have to explain to me what's going on. And I always wanted to say, okay, I didn't do this.
Yeah.
But that would just make the situation worse. Basically, what you have to say is, I hear you. I want to help. I need information. That's all you have to say. And they go, okay, this person is hearing me. This person wants to help me. Now I have to answer questions. Not everybody reacts that way, but for the most part, most people do. They call you in a rah, 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 huff, and you say, I hear what you're saying. Now I need to get details so that I can fix it for you.
Yeah.
And just be done.
This would be my helpline. It'd be like, this computer, I can't figure it out. What am I supposed to do, you asshole? Why are you on the car? Help me out. Hello?
What's going on?
Hello?
What's happening?
Hello? That would be my helpline. Someone there?
Oh, so you would be the person on the other end going, click.
Yeah, I would hang up. That's my helpline right there. I just can't listen to that. Here's what I heard once, and then this is probably what I need to do. And when you read books on conflict resolution, this is what they say. Take every chance that you can to get into a conflict. That's what they say.
I hate that idea.
They say that because they say the way you handle it is through experience. Do it, get into it, and get out of it. Go in, and practice the techniques and get out. And that's just what I'm just not good at it.
I think every kid in school, I think every kid in school should have to take art. They should have to take some sort of musical instrument, and they should also have to take a debate class.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Or an argument skills class.
I don't think so. Not that.
Because it's essentially the same thing.
You're wrong. I don't think that's true.
No, I agree.
I totally disagree.
I agree with you.
You're wrong.
No.
Yes.
I'm not.
I had debate in school. I will also add that I think all kids should have genealogy, but that's it.
I mean, it is history part. It should be part of their history.
The reason I think that, and it's not with everybody, and I know everybody doesn't come from, some people are adopted, and not everybody knows what their genealogy is, but what I discovered is, much later in life, that I would say at least a third of the people I went to school with, I was probably related to, and I didn't know it at the time.
Yes.
Just in the same community. I come from a very small community, and just their families had been there for years, as mine did, and even if you're not blood related, there were marriages. And so you probably had a lot. I think I had a lot more kinfolk in that class than I realized.
Kinfolk.
East Tennessee word.
It's cute.
But yeah, I just feel like that. And it helps you to kind of realize that the people you might actually hate are probably your family.
Exactly.
You get a little bit more connection. Well, this could go on for a while. I would like to hear from our listeners how you deal with conflicts. And while you're at it, what are you afraid of?
What are you afraid of?
What are your big fears? Maybe you're afraid of conflict like me. I don't know if I want to say afraid, but yeah,
yes,
I will
you
say
are.
it. I'm afraid of it.
You are afraid of
Mm-hmm.
conflict because
you
don't know how to handle it.
I don't know how to handle it.
That's why you're afraid.
I don't like what it does to me, and I don't like the way it makes me feel. So I guess we could say that those are all fears. So thisepicdisaster@gmail.com. Send us an email. Tell us your experiences in this field. Help me out. I need to get better.
He does. He needs advice. Now, I know that in the future, I do like Doctor Who. In the past, I have asked for relationship advice, and didn't nobody say nothing.
Maybe they just didn't have any advice for you.
So, I think this time we do need to give Rick some advice.
Yeah, help me out.
Let's help him. He's 56 years old, people, and he's not comfortable with conflict because he doesn't know how to handle it.
I basically just want to understand other people's techniques, and maybe I'll pick up on that. So please do that. We're going to put a close to the podcast here soon. We need to talk about this beer, but before we do that, let's tell people that they can get stickers.
Yes.
By sending your mailing address to thisepicdisaster@gmail.com. We will send you stickers for free. You can find us out on all the internet places, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
We're there.
And send us email because we like that.
We
and
do.
We got some reviews this week. 5-star reviews.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Now send me your dad jokes and I will say them on the air.
Please, people, don't do that.
Send me all the dad jokes.
Talk about fears, talk about conflict. There you go.
And dad jokes.
No wonder I'm afraid of it.
We need a little levity in
all right.
Okay. All right. So thank you for listening. We will see you next week.
Don't end it until we do the beer review.
Damn it. I didn't want to.
Just going ahead. Well, you didn't drink all of yours. Mine's gone. What did you feel? What did you think? How did you feel about it?
I have conflict resolution issues with my beer.
Yeah. What are you going to give it?
It's like a 1.5.
Oh, I gave it a 2.
That could be mood based right now, though.
for me, it wasn't overly special. It's a typical beer for what it is.
It's a typical pale ale.
Yeah, I mean, no big deal. It's a little bit bitter. I had the taste was okay. It had a little bit of a grapefruity taste, but not that much. It was all right.
No.
I drank all of mine.
Okay. Well, you only had half of what I had.
But, it's a naked pig. How bad can it be?
I just like to lick naked pigs.
What?
I mean, no. Did I say that out loud?
Apparently.
Okay. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you next week.
We'll be here next week with the naked pigs.
Okay, bye. This is a Violet Jester Media podcast.